Hello and welcome back. We're getting into the second map between these two teams, the Team Singularity with the 1-0 lead in the series, back up against Wisla Krakow, Wisla All in Games, whichever name you prefer. Correct me if one's more correct than the other, but it is Team Singularity starting out on the CT side. It's Wisla's map pick now, and they hope to try and tie up this series and take us to a third. But it's Team Singularity. They'll have Remoy finding a couple open in frags, looking for a third onto Jedka towards the Palace, who is now the last player alive. And quick as you like, Team Singularity, they're going to pick up the pistol round. And Norton, 2 kills for him with the pistol. He's carrying on where he left off on Nuke, rather. So an early advantage. Wisla will hope to try and fight back almost immediately here with these full investments. A couple Tech 9s, Deagle, CZ, P250. They look like they're going to go for something quick towards this B site. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Norton and SMF, who are the players in charge of this site. Utility damage is good from the CT side initially, but the Tech 9s, they're getting deep in towards the site. SMF cuts off the first, looking for more damage, can find more kills, and quick as you like, with just 1 kill found by Wisla, it is a second round on the board for the Danes. Obviously, the Team Singularity side, they have the chance here to take this series 2-0 right now. It's Wisla who need to try and force things into a third map decider on Dust 2. And with just Deagles, a single Glock in this round from the polls, it is unlikely that they pick this one up. It's probably going to be Team Singularity with a third on the board. Unlikely that they can find much here, but you never know with the Deagles. You can always have crazy things going on. Can actually see over that smoke, Goofy. That's pretty crazy. But now as it fades, they are a little bit exposed. A little bit of damage done towards Iceberg, at least. Just before they break it up. Five on five, still a minute on the clock. 4 players positioned outside this A site. Larson, Famas in hand, should be able to take the initial fight towards Palace. It's actually Remoy who was over towards Jungle who takes the contact. Larson will swing and find himself a couple kills instead. But later on, and now it's all left up towards Hades, having a little bit of a roam towards the underground. Remoy will find him. Dispatch him pretty quickly. So Singularity, they'll keep 5 players alive in that one. So these last 2 rounds, I think, actually, this entire... Well, these first 3 rounds, in fact, that have been played, only 1 kill found by Wisla, and that was in the second round down towards that B site. As my chair has a bit of a squeak. Guns out for Wisla now. And a nice fat flashbang towards mid. Completely blinds up Larson. Ponchek is able to get the spray down onto him. An advantage, a very early advantage in this round from Wisla. And a lot of mid control as well, which they will be happy to have. Iceberg up towards the apartments. I really need to sneeze. Has put a deep smoke down. It does keep Ponchek back for a little bit. He uses a bit of utility to clear out the close kitchen angle. Just make sure nobody's gone and aggressive that side of things. He's been able to lurk his way in towards the A site as well. Taking down Remoy. You know Notton's up towards the Palace. He's just fired off a few shots as they tried to approach through T-spawn. But at least he's got a pretty decent afterplant position that might be able to find some damage. Iceberg, he catches a CT push. Norton is looking for more. That Molotov just goes sailing past Goofy. If it connected onto him, might have alerted Norton to his presence close by. But now he's dropped away. It's a 3-on-4 retake required towards this A site, and with Sparrow over by short, he's going to be a tough cookie to dislodge. It's Singularity actually looking like they're going to want to save this. As Hades, he tried to look for a little bit more damage. He tried to chase them down. He will get caught off. Singularity will try and keep these 3 players alive. It's an MP9, a FAMAS, and an AK. They don't fancy their chances at securing this round, especially now that the bomb's gone off. But there goes SMF. Iceberg quick on the trade. So an AK and an MP9 taken into this next round for Singularity. They could have fully bought even if they've lost all the guns. So it might have been worth going for a bit more damage. That AK, obviously a nice little commodity. The MP9 can still find damage as well, especially towards that B side, which is where Notton is positioned right now. Hades, he's so aggressive towards mid. He's been able to get himself towards ladder him. A little bit of damage inflicted onto him. Actually, quite a lot of damage inflicted onto him as his teammate Goofy falls. Hades is left on 11 HP. That Molotov comes in towards his position. It's going to burn him down and kill him. In the fire and flames, he's now a little bit toasty. That's a 2-man advantage for Singularity. But they look to try and return the favor onto Wisla. Can't quite find the kill on towards Ponchek, who does dislodge him from his position towards jungle. Larson getting a little bit annoyed by the jiggle peek from the palace, as it is now a 4-on-3, but with a player still toward the ramp. That was Remoy, who has now had his head chopped clean off. Looks like Team Singularity might just lose this round, potentially. With the kill swinging back in Wisla's favor, the bomb still needs to get planted, though, and is there any real safe spot to do so? Oh, Larson had a sitter there. Does tag Jedka down to 8 HP and actually finishes it off through the ticket box instead. Makes life a little bit more difficult for himself, but now it's Ponchek, 1 versus 3. Can't get that bomb planted in time, surely, as he tries to push forward. Shots coming from every single angle. And it is Singularity who do answer back, despite a little bit of a rocky middle there. At least they're able to find a couple frags in return. Remoy seemed to have a great position towards ramp there. Maybe peaks a little bit too early. But Singularity, they clean it up either way, as they do find a 4th on the board now. And a pause coming through from Wisla. This is a technical pause, in fact. Not sure what the tech issue is, but we'll be getting back live in just a moment. Sorry, I'm just struggling to breathe a bit at the moment. 1 second. Trying to find an inhaler that works, which is not a good sign. Yeah, like none of these work. This is not good, guys. This is really not good. 1 second, let's try this one. No, none of these work. Well, this is a disaster. There's one there, actually. I've rummaged around my stash of inhalers. Maybe this one's... Ooh, this one sounds like it might work. Oh, dear. Well, the pause has been cancelled. About to go back live, and none of these work, so I'm gonna have to just try and not suffocate, essentially. We'll see how that goes, as it is gonna be It is very warm in here as well. I might have to take off my hoodie. That might help. But I'll do that after this round. As it is, a couple of Eagles for Wisla. A few AKs as they've fully invested everything they can into this one. No early pick from Wisla this time. But they have got a lot of connector control early on. Smoke holds them back for the time being. Remoy might have a lot of players coming his way in a moment. That flashbang is pretty good. It does blind up Ponchek, who's able just about to get towards safety. Over by those stairs. Iceberg towards Dark. And SMF fighting towards CT. Will win out his duel. Nice opening. A lot of, I think, what Wisla were hoping for relied on that CT flank. Nice shot from Hades, though. He's left on just 1 HP. But it's still a kill that matters. And a kill that does pure damage. Oh, there's a 4-on-4. Looks like Wisla might try and backtrack towards this B site. Notton, he's in position to defend this, but he can only watch one of these angles. Jedka and Ponchek going to be the more inviting options as he finds one of the kills. Can't double himself up, though, as it's a 3-on-3 retake required. And with Hades 1 HP towards the window, he could cut off rotations. He might be able to stab them in the back. As Ponchek, he'll find a kill. A great kill as well, as it clears out that market position from SMF. And Remoy, he's thinking about where Hades might be coming from. How long does he watch this angle, though? How long does Hades wait before he makes a move? I assume he'll wait for noise to be made. Actually, Remoy, he's just going to push through. Can't actually find Hades, who gets the instant headshot. With that AK, Remoy instantly deleted, and somehow with Hades on 1 HP, he's been able to find 2 kills. It looks like Wisla, they'll find a second on the board here. Iceberg, he's just going to save his M4 up towards the apartments. He'll be fine to stay alive. How is Singularity's economy looking? I mean, it's okay. Not enough for a full buy. Not an he could buy. Iceberg could drop a FAMAS. Larson could buy himself a FAMAS up. Not great, though, so I wonder if Singularity, they just take a bit of a partial, but no. With Remoy low on cash, just a 1400 for him, they'll go for the force buy. They know they can't buy up next round even if they eco now, which is fair enough. After the pause from Wisla, in fact. Yeah, that was a Wisla pause. After winning the round, they decide to take a tactical pause. And, well, I mean, obviously, Singularity, they can talk through that as well. And they do decide to go for a couple M4s, a couple MP9s, and just a deagle for SMF against these 5 AKs from Wisla. So a lot of potential here for a 3rd round from the Wisla side. And they need to start racking up some more rounds on this T side, because they are, as of right now, down a map. Or was Singularity picking up their own map of nuke, 16-10? They really want to force this series to dust too. Because they need to find their own map pick of Mirage here. And a Ponchek with a nice opening onto Larson does give a lot of space over towards his A site. Remoy, he can stall him a little bit with Iceberg coming in from behind over by that ramp. He could find a lot of damage here depending on the timing. And they are going to push out from that palace. The smoke holds him back for a little bit longer. Iceberg, he has a play towards Sandwich as well. They've not spotted him out just yet, and he's going to bide his time. He spots out 2 of them. Goofy is in the open, but he was at least. Iceberg will get them both either way. That's the bomb dropped. And potential for Singularity to find a 5th here. Iceberg, he's going to keep pushing forward. Will get taken down. The instant trade from Notton, though, is good. And now it's Sparrow against 2. But it's just a deagle for SMF and potential here for Sparrow to really ruin Singularity's day, but it's not going to be. And with the limited weaponry Singularity, they will find a 5th. Keep on battling back against this Wisla side. And Wisla, they can't get a run of form going here. I mean, neither can Singularity really, but they're having a better time of it than Wisla. The pistol round helped them out a lot, the Singularity side, but this nade could do decent damage onto the Sparrow, and it does. Chunks him down to half as Wisla, they have gone fully invested into this one. A couple AKs, a Galil, back 10, and just a Deagle for Hades. But look at Goofy's position here. He could catch Iceberg off guard, and he does just about get the kill. Now, Larsen's in a really difficult position. He's flanked from both sides. Goofy will take him down, and a 2-man advantage for Wisla already. It's big news for them. They should just be able to stroll into one of these sites and have a fairly easy time of things. It looks like Singularity, they're going to gamble more or less towards this B site. 2 players heading over that way. Remo, he's locked in towards stairs right now. He can't get away from this position. One check. We'll just clear him. Remo didn't really have much chance there. Singularity, they'll just save these last 2 guns. Wisla, great work there. Catching out 2 players in towards mid pretty much seals the round before it really gets going. I'm surprised Singularity didn't have any sort of presence towards underground there, especially considering there were essentially 2 mid. Probably worth just having one of the players looking towards that underground position. Left the second player very, very compromised in that mid position once I think it was Iceberg went down in connector. Wisla a 3rd on the board, and they will be keeping Singularity within arm's reach here, but it's not the sort of T side you'd be hoping for right now from the Wisla side. You'd be hoping for a lot more sort of not necessarily just strength, maybe a bit more confidence. But, I mean, if they can pick up a few more rounds now, and a good chance to do so here with just a single AK and the MP9 saved for Singularity. It is a force buy around it with a few deagles, but SMF needs to be a little bit careful there. Nice nade as well from Nottingham. Does decent damage to a couple of those players towards the apartments. It looks like Wisla are setting themselves up to head in towards that B site as Iceberg, he's caught towards connector though. That might pull rotations from Singularity. But with Remo deep in towards the ramp, they might commit to the B site still. There's Notton. He gets a dink onto Sparrow. Tries to take the fight with the MP9 long range. That's not going to work out for him. And now left with a 2, make it 3-man advantage. Singularity will just try and save these Eagles, surely. Larsen won't be able to do so, and it's Remo towards T-spawn. Last alive for the Singularity side, and Wisla will start reeling in. Singularity ever so closer. It'll shrink to just a 1-round advantage now for the Danes. Remo, he might find a kill onto Hades here. Depends on the timing, though, because Remo seems to be a little bit uncertain of the other angles, but there is the kill. That's an AK you can recover as well, and there's not really anybody near enough to try and take this weapon away from him. So that's a nice pickup for Singularity there. An AK into this next round. Might be able to find a little bit of damage. He'll drop over the Deagle to a teammate. That's a bit of an upgrade for them as well. And another Deagle will follow for SMF. But that is really all they get. The AK, a couple Deagles. Larsen, he's digged down 1 in mid. That's a very nice opening. And one check being dinked up by the USP there. Remo swings out for the trade. He's just throwing guns away. Smart move. And smart move from Jedka as well to clear that angle. Iceberg Not going to get any more damage from that position. Push forward. They are just clearing out these last defenders from Singularity. It's just the unarmored pistols. And the AKs make light work of them as it's tied up now 5-5. Wisla fighting back, but it's Team Singularity who'll have a buy-up in this next round. It's actually going to be double AWPs for the Team Singularity side. Notton and Larson, with Notton on glass cannon AWP. Interesting to see. Wonder where he's going to be positioned with that weapon, as right now it doesn't look like any sort of real aggression towards mid from the Singularity side, but Larson, he will tag up one with that AWP. Jedka, he gets tagged down to just 15 HP. An Iceberg on short, he can collect the kill on Despero, but Jedka, he's still picking, and he does get that trade, so it would have been nice if Larson had found that kill, but Singularity, look how much presence they have towards the B site, and Wisla, they're walking into it. SMF, he's gotten the bomb dropped. On check. He's trying to push in towards the site, but he is also going to fall victim to SMF. And, well, for Singularity, this is a dream scenario for them. The bomb dropped in towards the site. Goofy and Jedka locked in towards apartments. And to cross towards B, they need to frag out. There's one from Goofy. Takes down the AWPer, but there's still 3 more players to find. There's SMF. Now things start to get dangerous. Remoy has picked up that secondary AWP and is looking to try and find the frag, but maybe Goofy... maybe he can find some more damage here. He looks to push in towards the site. Has to make noise to drop. And Notton will surely call that out to Remoy. 35 seconds. Goofy's looking for any sort of intel he can get before he makes noise. Now he has done it. Notton, he's trying to take the fight. No ammo in the AK left for Goofy. Remoy, he'll swing around the corner, giving support to his teammate, and it will be Singularity denying Wisla the lead. They'll find 6 on the board. The double ups do work out in the end, but it was SMF who found a lot of the damage towards that B site. Flashbang blinds up Larson. He's still able to find the shot. Ponchek a little bit slow on that peak, in fact. Larson was able to get himself reset for that fight. That leaves Wisla a player down, and with limited cash for quite a few of these players on the Wisla side going into the next round, that is not fun. That means that Wisla might be forced onto a, well, forced onto a force, maybe an eco, depending on what their situation is like, whether they get the bomb or not down. Jedko, he's got about 5.5k. Could drop a little bit of weaponry, but not enough to sustain an entire team. If Wisla, they're gonna bank on the A site to try and find their sick fear. And A towards the palace might do decent damage. Jedka, he takes a chunk of HP off of himself. Utility comes raining in on Remoy. He's positioned over towards Ninja Box. He might be able to find a kill. Doesn't do so. Looking for more, but that's a pretty one and done position. And that's exactly what he gets. But Team Singularity there have got themselves a 2-on-4 with the advantage their side. Larson, he's just holding the cross as well. And there goes Goofy. Hades, he's locked in towards the back of the site with the bomb. And no escape as SMF takes him down. Singularity 7 on the board. They're looking strong on Mirage here as well. And that's looking a bit worrisome for Wisla. I mean, yeah, they're on the T side, but Singularity, they can rack a couple more rounds up here. It's going to be, it is going to have to be a bit of a comeback for Wisla in that second half, especially if Singularity could see the form they've had on the pistols so far. Notton has been looking insane, but we'll have to wait and see. And with this being a bit of a low buy for Wisla, Larson opens things up. It should be an 8 for Singularity, and that'll lock in the lead for half time as well. This is looking all Singularity right now. Jedka did find one with that AK at least. damage done as he kept his economy in a decent position, even with buying that AK up. But Larson, he's just finding everything in this round. 3 kills to his name so far. One check towards the ladder room. Has been spotted out. A little bit of damage done. But both of these last two Wisla players are super low on HP. That finished off without too much fuss. Now, 2 rounds left to play for in this one. This nade could do decent damage from SMF. It's actually going to do great damage from SMF. Goofy, he's taken care of with a Kobe grenade. Sparrow, he's going to take a lick of damage as well from a secondary from Iceberg. It's looking good for Singularity here early on in this round. I mean, definitely there's still potential for Wisla to find an evening frag here. Or an equalizing frag, rather, but Larson, a little bit of a gap in the smoke he was looking through. His teammate towards A has fallen, and he has to try and reposition himself. But that flashbang ain't going to do anything apart from blind up Jedka. And that's easy for Larson. Just Sparrow and Jedka remain. Make it just Sparrow. And one by one, all these Wisla players fall. It's 9 for Singularity. Potential for 10 here, because look at the economy for Wisla. It's going to have to be a pistol force buy, essentially. Maybe 1 AK brought out for Jedka, perhaps. He does go for it. No utility for him, though. Is it fasting towards B for Wisla? I mean, you haven't really challenged B much this game. You haven't had much success, though, as well. See what they go for. They have slowed down a little bit. They haven't fully committed straight off the bat. They're waiting for utility from Singularity, and now they start to push Norton. The 2 Berettas. He does go for the for a kill. Hades, though, will quickly trade him out, and SMF towards the bench position needs to find something, but he can't find anything. Jedka will take him down. Jedka's left on 1 HP, though, in the Molotov. He stands a little bit too long, but still survives. As his smoke fades, Sparrow, he will be met with the fury of Iceberg as he finds 2 quick kills. It's left up to Goofy, a 1 versus 3, and there's 1. Deals with Iceberg, now needs to find where these last 2 players are coming from, but he doesn't expect Remoy from the apartments. We'll shoot him in the back, and it is 10 on the board for Singularity, double digits. Going actually 1 better compared to the first half of Nuke. So a 5-round lead for the Danes going into that second half. Obviously, they now switch over to the T side, a bit more of a difficult side, but Mirage fairly even nowadays. It's not really much of a difference maker, but we'll see what Team Singularity can bring and what Wisla can show us on the CT side as well, because a very lackluster T side. They're in danger of losing this series 2-0, Wisla. Obviously, I'll just reiterate as well. Excuse me. I'll just reiterate that Team Singularity, they picked up that first map. It was their map pick. It was Nuke. But they're the ones who won it. They took it 16-10. Right now, 5 rounds in the lead. They have a marvelous chance of picking up this series 2-0. And that'd be great for Singularity. It would be their first win in this season. They've had a rough start with this new roster. Not much time to practice, but as the weeks have progressed, they've gotten better and better. And you can see now they're starting to come to life. Obviously, Norton is just an absolute beast right now for the Singularity side. But just all in all, much stronger Team Singularity we've seen here than in any other week so far, and with games coming up tomorrow and on Thursday as well for Singularity, if they can keep this momentum going, they could possibly rack up a couple more wins, or a couple of wins in this week. So we'll see what they bring, though. Because obviously Wisla on the CT side now could completely turn things around and show us what they've just been holding back for this second half. We'll just wait for it to go live. We are going to get into the second half pistol round now. Larson, he'll go for a P250, a flashbang and a smoke, while Iceberg will get a couple flashbangs and a smoke for himself. Podcheck will be the one with the kit and a couple flashbangs. The rest of the team rolling with armor. It looks like Team Singularity, they want to hit fast towards this B site, or at least aggressively towards this B site. There's actually 3 defenders here, but Remoy will exterminate one of them initially. Sparrow needs to hit these shots, can eventually take down one, but he's quickly traded out, and with all the rest of these Wisla players falling one by one, Hades is left in the sight, but Tipsy Tap, he'll find 2. But Goofy, he can't find anything, though. And there was an attempt there from Hades. He brought it into the 2-on-2 momentarily. But it is 11 for Singularity, and now a 6-round lead for the Danes. Pressure mounting for the Polish side, and they go for the force buy. It could be all or nothing here for them. It could either be them starting to fight back into this game, or Team Singularity finding what could be 13 on the board before Wisla. They've got another full buy through, and that would be an 8-round deficit to try and overcome. That is a tough ask, but do you really have many other options at this position? 5 Deagles. A little bit of utility left. A smoke, a flashbang, and a HE. Not all too much. And Wisla, they actually went for a lot of head armor in this one. While Team Singularity, there's only one SMG. Jedka, he's going to completely annihilate SMF. Nice shot to find. A nice opening for Wisla. He could fight back in this. If they fired 6 now, plenty of opportunity for them to start clawing some more rounds back. But it does rely on them closing this half, or close this round out, rather. Towards connector. Oh, Goofy. He's just completely made fools out of Singularity there. And Jedka, oh, another shot from the Deagle. Leaves it all up to Notton, who'll eventually find 1 kill for Singularity. Make it 2. Can he find anything else? As players all around him, Ponchek might just be able to finish him off, though, as he's not looking the right way. And Wisla, the Deagle buy will work out. They'll take home a couple AKs and a Galil as well from all of that. So for Wisla, they stay in this game. They fight back with the Deagles. Great stuff for them. But Team Singularity, they'll try and replicate that success themselves. 4 Deagles, a P250 for them, as they hope to find 12. But Wisla, they'll be on the gun for 7. They should just be able to lock down this, though. Notton, he takes a lot of initial damage. Down to about 60 he goes as a USB device reconnects. Hope that wasn't my microphone. No, it seems we're good. Singularity, they'll try an attack in towards this B site. A flashbang to go over. Ponchek, he's over by the back of the site. Sparrow towards short. They both pick up 1 apiece. Until Sparrow, he does get caught out in the open, but these rotations are coming thick and fast for Wisla. Ponchek, he's still standing, collecting a couple more frags in the site. will be Wisla up to 7. And he should find 8 here as well. Like, 8 should come pretty easily off the back of that. It'll just be Glocks for Team Singularity. Maybe a P250 board up, maybe. Doubt it, though. And actually a technical port's coming through here for Team Singularity. So we will just have to wait a moment before we get back into the game, into the action. But we saw the second round of this best of 3, in fact, on Nuke. Team Singularity, they won a round out against the sort of a follow-up from Wisla with just the Glock. So, excuse me, it was like this buy now from Wisla is a lot more, is a lot stronger than the buy they had on that round in Nuke. 4 rifles, the AWP. It's pretty much a perfect setup. I don't think in any realm of possibility Team Singularity should be able to pick up this round. It should be a lock-in for 8 for the polls. And I think maybe you can let go a kill or 2 here if you're Wisla. But they'll certainly be hoping to try and keep 4 or 5 players alive. ADs instantly dinked down by Larson with P250. Surely not. Wisla, they have a pretty good setup towards A here that should be able to counter what Team Singularity throw at them. But Goofy, oh no, it's all falling apart and the A site crumbles. Singularity, they're going to be able to get the bomb planted. Surely Ponchek, he's trying to push forward to deny the plant. He's managed to take the Singularity players off it. Sparrow pushing in through window. Might just get caught by Larson. It's just 1 player left for Wisla and it's all falling apart. Surely, I said, surely Team Singularity can't find this round. Not again. Not against a buy like this, but it's come this way. It's come full circle. And Singularity with the Glocks and a single P250. They find 12 against a full buy. They take away 3 rifles and an AWP as well. They keep 4 players alive. They only lose 1 player. That cannot be happening if you're Wisla. Now they're left with an M4, a Scout, and a few Deagles. Sure, they found rounds like this before, but you cannot be letting these rounds slip if you're Wisla against full Glock. And a single P250? Nah, that cannot be happening, I'm sorry. They have a chance to redeem themselves, though. They can replicate some of the magic they found with the Deagles before. There's every opportunity of bouncing back into this game. But it's a 5-round deficit, and they need to start now. They can't allow Singularity to get 13 and most likely 14 after this as well. Because it will be Wisla on the eco. And then the entire game, you're looking down the barrel of Singularity making it onto match point. No opening kills found for either side, but a little bit of damage done towards Wisla. Hades and Jedka just been tagged down a little bit. And Singularity, they're going to make an approach in towards the B site. Right now, Ponchek, he stood on top of that secret box. As Sparrow rotating in with the Scout for support. Try and draw the fire, and he does get a tag onto Iceberg initially. A second tag comes through, but Larson will annihilate him. Ponchek on the site, though, hidden and deadly. He secures 2. They now need to clear him out, and Remoy will do exactly that. But Jedka, he's still around. Deagle in hand. It's up to SMF to try and lock down this round. Has support from Larson, but he's up into towards the apartments, and he's been taken care of. It's now SMF against 2, and he's put down low. He's taken down, and Wisla, they do fight back. They do keep themselves in this one, and they deny Singularity really stretching out a lead as they claw it back to just a 4-round deficit. The limited weaponry works out, and it's Ponchek on the site there, finding 2, baited in perfectly by Sparrow on that Scout. Works out wonders. But still, they have to try and fight back. They're still at a 4-round deficit. There's still a long way to go, but that is a good start. Out for Singularity, though. Obviously, that round with the Glocks, they had no investment into the round. They came away with a lot of weapons. They have spare economy, so it's 3 AKs and AWP, and the AWP is going to make good of its chance to take down Hades. Opening frag found for Singularity. Remoy, he's going to get caught though. There's damage towards Jedka, so now both Goofy and Jedka are low, but it's a 4-on-4. Wisla still have a chance in this one. Team Singularity, they're going to try and take control towards mid. Goofy, he's just going to back away, doesn't want to get caught out alone. Singularity, they make the aggressive push forwards. It looks like they might try and split towards that B site. Only one player in defense, that's Ponchek. Goofy might be able to catch them though, pushing up short if he's quick, but no. Ponchek has been spotted towards the site as well. So he needs to go quick, but he can't find anything. And with a triplet of kills coming through for Singularity, it's left up to Jedka with that saved or try and hold on to it for a round. Not sure how much Team Singularity will hunt though, they need the cash as well. Maybe they don't need to hunt though, as Larson, he'll catch Jedka. Trying to get across. The AWP shot comes through and Singularity up to 13. And Wisla. I mean, we've seen it already a couple times in this game, in this map, in fact. The Eagles coming through clutch. And there's a shot from Goofy. That is what you love to see if you are a Wisla fan. The Eagle just completely nailing the AWP. Jedka, he's going to find a kill onto Iceberg as well. Weapon collected for him and bomb dropped in CT control. Singularity, they need to fight back, and that's a good start from SMF. But with this control of Wisla towards the ramp, they've got the bomb, they've got a couple weapons saved now, and they're looking to try and find Remoy, who's worked his way back out the palace. He's going to get an AK bullet through his dome. 2 left for Singularity. Wisla, they might find a Night Fair. They're keeping themselves in this game off the Eagle rounds. Are they expecting SMF? Quite. He's able to find one. That's all he can find, though, before the round comes to a close. And, I mean, Wisla, they find another round off the Eagles. They save an AK and an AWP. And they keep themselves in this one. They're trailing Singularity, but about 4 rounds behind. Need to start actually clawing the rounds back rather than just trading out. And with Team Singularity on what is essentially a min buy here, a bit of an eco for the Danes. It is a couple Deagles, a couple PT50s, a Glot. Not much in the way for them to work with. Wisla should be able to close this one down, but I've said that so many times before. And a missed Molotov from Ponchek. Not what you like to see, but it shouldn't matter too much. Not going to make too much difference in the round, I don't think. Singularity, they'll take a bit of control towards mid. It looks like the bomb might rotate over towards B, though. So, yeah, it looks like the hit is going to be a bit of a split towards the B site. If Team Singularity get that player in towards the window undetected, which it looks like they should be able to, it might cause issues for Wisla on the rotation. But Ponchek, he jump spots towards the apartments, he'll get info. As long as he doesn't get his head taken off. But now, just trying to bait out a bit of noise towards the apartments. Hoping for a peek, but it's Ponchek with the opening frag. With Sparrow and assistance, they're finding the frags. Hades did seem to be a little bit aware. But now he has his teammate watching for him. This is the sort of rounds you need to be having if you're Wisla. Locked down against these pistols. Remoy's making noise, he'll be caught by a moment. Jedka gets that frag. So 10 on the board for Wisla. They'll close up to now to just 3 rounds behind Singularity. But now, I think for Singularity, they'll bring the guns out. So it's 5 AKs for Singularity. They could have gone for the AWP. I think Iceberg could have dropped one over and got an AK in return. Initial utility towards the A site. It's the frag towards mid, though, from Iceberg. pressing through the palace. Larson seems to be aware. Jedka needs to be careful because he might get his head clipped off, and it may not be the headshot, but it's still the kill. And with Wisla, they've got a second player towards the palace, another player in towards A-site, and Hades, he's towards market with that AWP. He could get isolated, but look at Ponchek. He's going aggressive to try and find intel, maybe a frag. He hears these steps, but are the Singularity side going to be watching for him? They were, and they still are. SMF, he gets dinked down, though. Still alive, though. The M4 not going to be that one shot, but information found is that they aren't going to rotate off that. And actually, Team Singularity, they're going to rotate in through Connector instead. So they're going to be walking into the slightly heavier stacked site. Hades, though, with that AWP is towards the B site, so they'll be able to avoid that one. If they take down the CT player here, this A site could crumble very, very quickly. That flashbang does push Goofy back, and he can get one, but the trade is there, and that's exactly what Singularity needed to do. They also know there's probably a player towards the palace still, but Hades, he'll get one. And that actually forces Singularity to change their plant position. Now on the opposite of default. Ponchek still towards the apartment. He has a lot of utility. He has been spotted out, tagged down a little bit, so they know his position for sure now. That nade should do decent damage, though. It doesn't onto Notten. He's able to get away from it. Takes 5 HP, and with Hades not even rotating over at this point, with just the 19 points of health, he's just sat in towards market. SMF just waiting to see if he rotates through. But it's going to be Singularity to 14. Again, a 4-round deficit for Wisla. They are really struggling to close this gap to Singularity. But at least with those saved weapons, the AWP and the M4, they can get a pretty solid buy around it. Not enough for another buy afterwards in reserve, but enough for this round to give another chance to try and deny Singularity a match point. Double AWPs, in fact, as well as Sparrow. He switches over into that secondary AWP role for this round. Early utility towards A. They're going to try and reply and try and hold them back with a smoke towards Palace, but it's the fight in mid that results in the opening kill. Goofy gets that. Team Singularity, they're going to be pushed in towards the site, but they're now 2 players down. Iceberg trying to answer back. He gets one. Needs his teammates to stay alive as he tries to look for more. Goofy, he has Molotovs behind him. He's burning, but he's able to get a kill. Larson eventually trades him out. He was alive for a lot longer than Team Singularity hoped. And now it's a 2 versus 3. Make it a 1 versus 3. Larson, he secures one. Can't quite pick off Ponchek. As Wisla, they'll keep Singularity off of 15 for just a round longer. Singularity, it's the eco for them. They're not going to throw this game away. With a force buy here, they'll get a couple Deagles, a couple P250s through, hope to inflict some damage, hope to keep the Wisla economy low and make a match point round much easier. Just going to be fast in towards this A site with a bit of utility to cover them. They might just try and aim for a bomb plant, but with Iceberg, the bomb carrier being down, that makes life a lot more difficult. Hades and Jedka, they're just finding all the frags. It's all up towards Remoy, the only player alive, and Hades has just USP'd him to death. So Wisla, now 12 on the board. They are closing up. They've started to get their footing. They've started to find these rounds. They're starting to get those CT side under control, but is it too little, too late? Larson is 28 kills in this game. On the complete other side, it's Sparrow with 7. And he's the one with the AWP this round. They're going to roll with a single AWP, and it's not Hades. Aggression towards mid from both sides, and it sort of results in a bit of a stalemate with the CT side having to fall away. And Larson, oh, that's a gift. That's a gift from Goofy. He tried to find space around the edge of the smoke, but Larson's there waiting. Larson will pick him off, and an opening kill for Singularity. And if you're Goofy, you're now a spectator for this round. You're hoping your teammates can wrap up this round. You can save the mistake you just made. This really is a pivotal round. This is at least from that previous round. They have cash in reserve, so Singularity will have to find rounds against 2 sets of guns here. But Iceberg with another kill towards the apartments for Singularity. Eventually, Sparrow can answer back with 1. Is it too little too late with him left on 18 HP? Team Singularity, they haven't gotten themselves in towards one of these sites yet. SMF does have a HE that could be positioned or placed right on Sparrow if it goes deep towards CT, but right now he's holding towards a ramp. Has Jedka over on default. And there goes a bit of utility. It forces him back. Trying to bait in Jedka in this position. And there he goes. He gets the first, but can't find any more. That nade from Sparrow is great in return. SMF needs to come in to support his teammate, and he does so. 20 seconds on the clock. He needs to get that bomb planted. SMF needs to hold this cross as Sparrow, he's left with 18 points of health, and surely Singularity, yes they do. They find 15, and it's match point for them. Wisla, they need 3 in a row to force OT. Can Wisla stay in this one? Goofy and Ponchek, they're left with MP9s. The money wasn't as good as I expected. It's double AWPs though for Hades and Sparrow. Jedka, he has an M4. Singularity, they have the full buy through. Iceberg, he's left with a bit of concession on that Galil. Singularity lose this one. It'll be 13 for Wisla, obviously, but they don't have the cash to rebuy. So Wisla probably get to 14, and then it's an all-out brawl in that final round of regulation to try and secure it in regulation for the Singularity side, for Wisla to try and get this into OT. Now to looking to try and find an opening. But smoke towards connector, blocked vision for now, and Jedka, he's just tapping through the smoke, finds a headshot onto SMF. He's looking for more as well, almost collects onto Iceberg. The bullet's just a whisker away, and Goofy inside the smoke, he collects 1. Can't find any more though, but I think that was good enough from his position to keep Wisla in a position to lock down this round as Larson, he's hoping for Jedka to make this peak. The flashbang goes deep. It's not going to blind Jedka up. And with Sparrow towards the palace, things could go from bad to worse. The plant denied. Larson at least trades out, but he is dealt with by Hades. And now it's Iceberg all on his lonesome. A play towards B and 2 to find towards A with 25 seconds on the clock. Hades will spot out the barrel, and that's an easy shot for him as it's Wisla to 13 and a timeout to be called by Singularity. Wisla, they still sit 2 rounds behind, but they should be able to find 14 off the back of this one. Singularity's economy isn't good. Larson has now reached 30 kills on the board. Notton having a bit of a slower game compared to Nuke, but he's still 14 and 13. Still doing great damage. Not having the same impact he did on Nuke. Larson's taken up that role, though, with that AWP. What did Singularity go for here? Did he go for the eco? Despite the low cash for a few of these players, and what's their loss bonus at, in fact? Absolutely nothing. They're on 1900. They, well, have 3400 for a few of their players, provided they don't get a bomb plant. That is not going to be much. This could very well be OT. Ooh, that's spicy. That is spicy for sure. Seeing how many times Singularity found damage with just Glocks and P250s and the like. There's chance for the same here. But how many times can you realistically achieve that? As they push forward, Larson, well, there's an opening kill. Jedka, he at least trades. And Sparrow 1 as well. They're bringing it back into their advantage where it rightly should be for Wisla. SMF has recovered the MP9. It's not a great weapon to use. I guess it's better than a Glock. Flashbang will try and force Jedka on the angle, and he actually gets dinked up, so Team Singularity just hits shots with these Glocks. Jedka's still alive, though, because obviously the Glock not one-shotting against head armor at that range. And 50 seconds on the clock. Team Singularity needs to try and aim for a bomb plant from this round, which they could do towards the A site, realistically. It's Hades towards CT with an AWP, and no other presence towards A. Just need to be careful of Jedka towards the short, and that's where he comes in. He takes down SMF, gives them that little sliver extra, and there's all up to Ramoy. Hades might be able to finish this off in just a moment. And yes, he does. Just that one opening kill for Singularity. It looked like it might spiral into chaos again for Wisla, but now the final round of this half of this regulation. It's not even a great buy for Singularity either. A few Mac 10s, a couple AKs. They've expended all they can. They saved all they could in that last round. But it very well could be OT here. Utility coming through. Sparrow coming through with the opening shot, though, as Singularity look to burst in towards his B site. There's two defenders right now. Ponchek to assist Sparrow. He's trying to find the shots, and actually Singularity, they might just back away from this. They'll concede that man advantage. Right now, Wisla in a very, very strong position to try and take 15 and try and, well, and put this one to OT. Bit of spam through the smoke from Ponchek. A little bit of damage done. Team Singularity might go for a second assault towards the B here once this smoke fades. They have a couple flashbangs and a single smoke to utilize. They need to make good of those. Sparrow, posted towards the back of the site, might find every shot he needs to do. Catches Larson, but not for the kill. It's low HP, and Ponchek is there for assistance. They're together. They are just locking down the site. Ponchek has fallen. That nade might finish off Larson. Leaves him on 3 HP. But Remoy, he's found one. And Larson, he's found another. There's a chance here for Singularity in a 2-on-2. Remoy, he's going to get that bomb planted. The nade, is it going to finish him off? No, it leaves him low on HP, though. Both of these Wisla players towards Market, and Singularity, they have a chance. He takes the fight. He goes down, and now it's all towards Larson with 3 singular points of health. And Hades, he swings out the door. He'll get it done with the AWP. Didn't need to. The pistol would have been good enough. But Wisla, it's 15 on the board, and the janky buy from Singularity in the final round of regulation can't do it. It's now going to be OT. We do have a short break before we get into OT, and for Singularity, their economy will essentially be reset now. It's MR3, 16k. So plenty of money to buy those double ups on the CT side if you want. You don't really have to worry about any sort of cash. You can sort of buy to your heart's content. And for Singularity, obviously not having that sort of full buy in that final round did hurt them. But that's the way the economy works. And for Wisla, they did well to fight back from some big deficit there. Constantly sort of 4 or 5 rounds behind until the last stages where they closed things in. And Singularity, they just couldn't quite put it to 16. My chair has a good old squeak in the background. We'll just we're waiting for this second half to go live. Or sorry, not second half, OT to go live. Shouldn't be too much longer, I hope. I'm not sure how many timeouts both these teams actually have left to use. But a timeout for OT would certainly be a bit of a godsend if things start going south early on for one of these teams. What are people thinking? What are people thinking? Is it going to be Team Singularity closing us out in 2? Or can Wisla force us to dust 2? I mean, I don't know which way this one's going to go. Wisla, they're carrying a bit of momentum in towards this OT. But obviously, Team Singularity didn't quite have the buys with them at the end there. A lot of sort of low econ buys going both ways. Wisla with the Deagles finding a lot of damage. And seeing like Team Singularity with like just Glocks and P250s, they found a lot of damage as well. So I think definitely both teams found some swing grounds that they shouldn't have with those low econ buys. So I feel like it sort of averages itself out. I think it sort of averages itself out overall. I think both teams sort of picked up a decent, a fair amount compared to the other. As we have had a Team Singularity player disconnect. There's Remoy who has disconnected from the server, so hopefully we'll get him back in just a moment, and we can get back into this thing and get overtime kicking, because sure to be a good one. I mean, what I feel like is I wonder if Singularity with the economy back in their with the economy back with them, I just wonder whether they're just going to come out kicking in this first OT. Whether they're just going to rack up a couple quick rounds before Wisla really have a chance to react. This Team Singularity had a lot of compromised buys in the latter portion of that game. I mean, so did Wisla, but obviously they managed to string through a few together and force Singularity onto those ecos in which they were. And obviously the final round of the half, they didn't really have the full buy. But yeah, there's quite a few rounds from Singularity where there were ecos, there was compromised buys. Felt like they struggled to get those guns together, but still made good of it. But both these teams obviously looking a lot stronger on the CT side compared to the T side, taking up 10-5 halves. We should be getting going in about a minute, but for Singularity, yeah, sure. Like, because they won the pistol as well, Singularity. Don't forget that. And on that second half, Singularity won the pistol, and Wisla immediately answered back. So a lot of those Deagle rounds come through from the Polish side, and that's something that's not going to occur in overtime. For obvious reasons, you're not going to need to take these ecos, take these min buys, or force buys. It's going to be full buys all around as we are getting into things now. Team Singularity will continue on the T side, on the attacking side. Well, Wisla will continue on the defense, and they immediately go into that double AWP setup. It's Hades and Sparrow to wheel both of them. It will just be Larson with a single AWP for the T side, though, and obviously utility all around. And looks like Singularity want to try and find something towards the A site early on. 4 players in that location. They are rotating SMF over as well. Larson's going to boost up on top of his teammate's head, and it's good for the kill onto Hades as well. Not expecting that fight. The Team Singularity, they can get in towards the A site, but a tag onto Iceberg puts him down a little bit low. But it's still Singularity with the man advantage as Ponchek, he goes aggressive, finishes off what his teammate started. A Molotov in towards the site as well, makes things a little bit difficult. Cuts down a bit of the space that Singularity have to work with, and aggression from Jedka is met with a kill. Nocturne at least trades back, and that nade should do decent damage to Ponchek. Down to 50 he goes. A 3-on-3 coming through, and Remo, he's just going to try and get that plant down. Or at least bait out that he is. And this smoke actually gives SMF a lot of cover to play this ticket booth. He can get this kill into Ponchek, and that's CT on lock now. Sparrow almost caught out trying to escape. Wisla, they need to try and fight back in this 2-on-3. Bomb not yet planted, though, and it's cut off towards the ramp. That smoke should allow the cross. Sparrow, he's rotating around through CT, and SMF might just find this frag, and he does. That should lock down the round. That leaves it all up towards Goofy, who's left alone in a 1 versus 3. Looking for any sort of chance, but tagged down even further. And we will finish him off. 60 on the board for Singularity, and that's what I was thinking might happen. I thought Singularity might come out swinging in the opening sort of couple rounds here. They get the first round, they get 60 on the board, and that's at least going to deny Wisla finding match point or map point in this first OT. And considering that both teams found 10-5 CT halves, getting one on the T side is good. That's the sort of third of the rounds you need if you compare it to regulation, which is the sort of an angle I like to look at quite a bit. The comparison to regulation, the sort of distribution of rounds as you go into OT. But obviously, in OT right now, every round matters so much more, with only 3 up for grabs in each half compared to the 15 in regulation. Each round is just so pivotal. If you can, like, a clutch here or there can just swing the entire game. It's no longer about the economy, it's about individuals and what you can do in the round. As they're going to go for that boost again over towards a ramp. Nobody covering it this time. As Wisla, they do have double ups again. This time Hades is not towards CT, he's over near jungle. And Molotov towards Jetka, makes him comfortable, forces him a little wide, but he still manages to get the kill. On towards Not, and the rest of this hit coming in a little bit late. Hades looking for a frag, and he will collect on towards Larson, so Wisla might just find 16 themselves, with Iceberg caught trying to push through his smoke as well. It now just leaves 2 of these Singularity players left. One dropping in towards the site, and then dropping to the deck as well. It's all SMF. Hades, he just wants to close it down. 3 for him in the round. 16 is found for Wisla. One final round to play for in this first half. Team Singularity collect this one, and Wisla are going to be in a bit of trouble going onto their T half, because they did struggle. I mean, both teams did realistically struggle on their T halves. Right now, Team Singularity looking to take a lot more control towards mid instead. And Hades, he's taking a lot of burn damage. A bit of spam coming through, doing a bit more damage. But SMF, he's the one who's taking the brunt of the hit. And that nade might just finish him off. Left on 16. He's able to get a kill on towards Hades. Goofy does trade, though. But SMF does good to at least find one from his situation. With a utility war going on. Both teams tried to find an upper hand, tried to find a bit of map control. So it looks like Team Singularity will rotate over towards that B site right now. 2 players in defense towards that B bomb site. Sparrow aggressive as well in towards the apartments. He could find a lot of damage for Wisla. If he just gets one and falls away, never mind, he's been caught by Iceberg. That Molotov will make Singularity burn, though, as they push forward. Ponchek, he can't find anything. He gets caught immediately. Now it's just Goofy and Jedka left alone in a 2-on-4. A lot of damage towards Iceberg through the smoke, but it's not the kill. The kill would have been perfect for Wisla. And surely Singularity now locked down this round with the bomb planted. A smoke towards Market. Looks like they're just going to push through it, though. And Goofy does find Iceberg with Notten low as well. That makes life difficult. But 2 players towards the apartments, and one of them spotted out. It's now just 2 left, and Parson, he's been spammed through the wall, gets taken down. Surely not. It's Remoy against 2. Takes down Jedka. The Molotov onto the bomb makes Goofy awkward, but spammed through the wall. Oh, it almost catches Remoy, but it's not enough damage. It's not enough bullets connected, and Remoy, he swings out, finishes off the kill, and you almost thought for a second that Wisla, they might be able to collect that round in the 2-on-4. That retake was looking seriously good as he took down those 2 low HP players. And that's a difficult situation now for Wisla. 2 rounds found by Singularity on their T side. That makes this oh so difficult for Wisla now. Singularity, 1 round, they find match point 2 on the CT side, and they have secured the game. And Wisla will be defeated 2-0, but they're not going to give up so easily. They still have a trick or two up their sleeve, surely, but maybe that wasn't what they had in mind. As SMF, he bags an opening kill, and with Larson in support towards Underground as well, that flashbang not going to catch him. Larson finds a kill for himself. That's Ponchek caught, and that's a two-man advantage as they try and get out of danger, these CTs. And they should be all right for a little bit longer. Larson going to set a solar flare up and gets himself boosted up as well. That's another frag found. 2 more to find. Ferro eventually eliminates the threat, but the damage has been done as these last 2 Wisla players, they're locked in towards top mid. Singularity are going to give them a bit of space. Gonna try approaching through short towards that B site. They've got a player in apartments to deal with, a player who can rotate quick from CT. Maybe a player who can rotate through ladder as well from window. But actually, Singularity, they're gonna shift their focus towards that A site as SMF, he'll bide his time towards apartments, wait for his teammates to rotate over, and Wisla, they can't believe the look they've got, and they've got an open site, and now they need to defend a 2v4. Ult for Sparrow, AK for Jedka. Difficult situation, but not impossible for the Wisla side. And Sparrow, might he give up himself here? He doesn't. He actually gets the frag, but these 2 players coming through the apartments might be the undoing of Wisla as it's all up towards Jedka. He'll get caught by Iceberg. And it is Singularity finding match point. This is heartbreaking for Wisla. Forced it into OT, and now they have to force it into a second OT. They need 2 on the trot here. Of course, the weaponry, they can still bring it through. It's still going to be a fight for Wisla. They don't need to worry about that. They just need to worry about executing these rounds, getting these frags, and stopping Singularity from doing what they want to do. It looks like Wisla, they're setting themselves up for a pretty A-heavy setup. 4 players right now, positioned towards the ramp and palace. Smoke towards connector, might lock off rotations, but that Molotov from Larson might slow things down as the utility comes flying over. It's perfectly timed. A nade as well goes in, does a little bit of damage, just a little bit of a tickle onto Jedka as Larson, he gets tagged down. So they'll push forwards. There's nobody in the site. This Team Singularity, they're respecting the smokes. They're just going to play behind them. The bomb planted, a 5-on-5 retake required. Wisla might just prolong this game, but an opening frag from SMF catches Jedka. Not looking the right way. He's a little bit exposed. Ponchek's position towards stairs could catch a frag, and it does. Beautifully done onto Iceberg. Hades with one as well, but it starts to bring things into Wisla's favor. Sparrow, that's a great kill to find. Leaves it all onto SMF. A 1 versus 3. A nade towards the ramp does a little bit of damage, and he can find a kill. Almost collects onto Sparrow as well, the low HP. But there's just too many players for him to find, and it's Wisla staying in this game. 18-17. 1 more round to try and force a second OT. Buys for both teams. Looks like Singularity want to try going aggressive towards the ramp. There's a player or 2 waiting. Adios will find the first good frag to pick off Iceberg, and that's an opening Wisla needed. 18 on the board looks even more likely now, but not a done deal. Still 4 more players to find. And Singularity, you know these individuals, they can find impact. As Wisla, they'll look towards this B site. Sparrow, he's just creating a bit of noise towards Underground. Make that a lot of noise as he finds Remoy. Good kill to pick off. I'm not sure if Singularity have found intel, but they've got 2 players right now towards this B site and a 3rd on short. They might be able to shut this one down. Wisla, they might be walking into a stack, but Goofy, he'll get the first. Notton, oh, he needed to follow up onto the second kill. Ponchek's left with 1 HP. And SMF, oh, what's he done that for? He's found just absolute pandemonium. He didn't expect to see Sparrow coming from mid. wrapping through window. He catches SMF looking the wrong way. He almost wins out the round. But Sparrow saves them. And Singularity can't quite close it down in the first OT. It's going to be OT number 2. We'll have another pause here before we get into things. And my voice is starting to go. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep. I've been awake for how many hours? 17 hours? With 3 hours of sleep? Lovely. But, tell you what, I am certainly enjoying this game of Counter-Strike. Team Singularity, they will remain on that CT side. It will be Wisla staying on the attack as well. So, that is all going to remain the same. This game should be getting going in about a minute and a half. Yeah, apologies if I'm not quite delivering what this game deserves right now. But I hope you're all enjoying it the same. I hope I do it just even a little bit of justice, because right now, second OT, we could well be seeing more. And this is just map 2. If Wisla pick up this map, we got Dust 2 as well. We got Dust 2 as a decider if Wisla pick up this. If Team Singularity find Mirage now, that'll be them securing the 2-0 and securing themselves their first win of this season of the Esea Prem. A much needed win. Wisla currently, they are 4-1, I believe, in the season. Yeah, 4-1. So it'll be, well, in this group at least, Group A. So it'll be great for Singularity to get a win against a team like this. We'll have to wait and see. To get into this second OT. I wonder if Singularity will switch themselves into a double up setup. Larson surely to pick up one. And he does, but not a secondary up. Just a single, and Hades, he's going to be wielding the single up for Wisla as well. Larson. In towards the window. Not going to have anyone peeking him for the time being. Bit of an AWP stalemate right now is... Going to try and find space towards underground. Not spotting anything out. Now spots towards top mid. Spots the AWPer of Hades. And I wonder how many more times I'm going to say spots this round. He's going to move himself a little bit further forward, hoping to maybe pick off a frag. And he does catch Goofy. Will be able to get out of danger as well. That is beautiful work from Larson. Got that AWP still, and he can still do more damage. What does Wisla do from this position right now? Ponchek, he's managed to work his way in towards underground. Hades has top mid, but creep through the palace smoke. Iceberg is sat waiting for them. Easy kill for him onto Jedka. There is a second player up towards the palace as well, and Iceberg, he's just going to drop a smoke, try and bait out the fact that nobody else is ramped, but his teammate is there. That is Remoy. If Icebergs get caught, SMF will trade it out. Remoy, he's been found towards a ramp. That nade could do a lot of damage. Hades, he's left on just 2 points of health, but it's still Singularity with the man advantage. And they need to get that bomb planted, and when they do so, he's going to be all on his lonesome as Ponchek, he's been caught. Hades now has to try and escape with these 2 points of health, but Larson won't allow it. And Singularity, they'll find the first round of this second OT as well. Looking some AKs around. Larson will try and shimmy those guns into his teammates' control. Surprised SMF hasn't recovered an AK or the AWP, as they end up with 2 AKs in the AWP. Oh, sorry, 2 AKs in the M4, rather, into this next round. It's now 1 round lead for Singularity. Similar setups for both sides now, but Singularity obviously rocking those couple saved AKs in this one. Larsen's not going to go aggressive towards mid this time. This time he's positioned over towards the apartments, looking through it. Got a bit of an early warning system for that Team Singularity side. As Wisla, they look to try and hit this A site with a lot of intent. 4 players towards the ramp and palace. It'll be Sparrow to try and flank through Connector. Has to try and deal with Iceberg, but he's looking the wrong way. And there's a smoke that at least covers him. SMF finds the kill onto that flank. And now what did Wisla do with Remoy? He's a smoke phase, finds Jedka over towards the palace, and this hit is falling apart. It now just comes towards these ramp players to try and make it work as they push forward. We do find Iceberg around the edge of that smoke, but still got Remoy to deal with towards the palace. And now Larsen, he's positioned over towards short with that AWP. He can watch for the cross, but Goofy, he's pushing deep. He's the one with the bomb though, and Larsen not going to be able to spot out the plant. That'll get done. Nothing at least gets down that planter pretty quickly. I think, did Larsen spot the gun barrel? He definitely spots Ponchek as he takes the peek, and now it's all up towards Hades. A 1 versus 4, but there's the first, looking for a second, surely not! He'll get cut short at 2, and it's 20 for Singularity. They do secure 2 now on the CT side, the feat they failed to achieve in the last regulation. And for Singularity, although they lose a couple players there in that 1v4 situation, that doesn't matter. What matters in overtime are the rounds. Money is not an object. And a 2-round lead. They could find a match point right now, Singularity. And that would leave it all up to Wisla in the second half. Singularity would just need to find one of the next 3 if they do pick up this round. But with Hades opening the fragging up in this round, this is the first time they've got an opening like that in this overtime. And it's a great pick to find as well. Larsen, who's been finding so much damage with the AWP, now been taken down. At least the trade from Notten does come through a little bit later. But Remoy, he's left on 3 HP. Needs to be careful with Jedka working through the jungle position. Not sure if he's been detected, but they do need to be careful. Looks like they're going to try and mid-push in towards this A site, but Singularity, they're reading it. They've got 4 players here ready and waiting. This could be devastating for Wisla. How are they... Yes, SMF finding 1. That's going to bring the advantage into Singularity's favor. At least a trade comes through, and with Remoy on just 3 HP, SMF on 6 HP, Iceberg on 30 HP. There's almost no HP for any of these Singularity players, but still finding damage. Remoy somehow alive towards the back of the site. Flashbangs from his teammates keep the Wisla players at bay, and they don't know. Iceberg's over by Tetris. 2 quick kills come through, and it's now all up towards Ponchek, but look at the HP. And with Remoy eliminated, 30 seconds on the clock, he can pick up this bomb. He can just work in towards the site. He's going to fake the plant. Does SMF buy it? Not yet. He's going to wait for his teammate to rotate back in through ramp. And SMF might just be able to find this kill. Oh, Ponchek looking the wrong way. And it's Singularity, a flawless CT half in overtime. And that leaves Wisla with so much work to do on their own CT side. 18 to 21. Singularity, they do just need 1 round from the next 3. And so, I don't know how Singularity pulled off that round. They had so little HP. The utility saved them time and time again. Remoy, he stayed alive for so long at default there. Remarkable stuff. The flashbang's coming over from his teammates, keeping him alive, keeping the T's at bay. But now Team Singularity. Pretty quick halftime pause there for this OT. They just need to find 1 opening, 1 way into this round. That's not it. Hades nails down Remoy early on in the round. It's an unlucky shot, and he even tags up Iceberg as well, just spamming through the wall and through the smoke. He gets a lot of damage done. Larsen has found a trade at least. In towards mid. It looks like they're going to try an entry in towards this B site now. Ponchek might get caught out. We've certainly spotted out. Hades at least keeps him alive. And there's Sameth. Oh, he's had some sick rounds, and this may just be the one that has the most impact, as it's Wisla now left in a 2v3 retake. Goofy moving him through the market. Has Sparrow working his way around towards short, but he needs to go fast. Larsen's going to pick off Goofy, and now it leads it all up towards Sparrow. A 1 versus 3 to save Wisla. But Larsen, who else to do it other than Larsen? He will shut down the Wisla side and secure this game 2-0 for Singularity. A huge win for them coming through, and their first win of the Esea Premier Series. And they're coming hot into this week. They've got 2 more games lined up for this week. One coming in tomorrow against Forza, I believe. And then one more coming on Thursday against Fate, who are also struggling. They are 0-5 Fate. Team Singularity now sit 1-3, I believe, in ESEA Premier. Singularity will now be 1-3 in ESEA Premier. And Forza are 2-2. So if Singularity could pick up a couple more wins this week, they may just be able to get themselves a playoff spot. It's not out the question. Yeah, there's certainly opportunities, considering they've played the least games out of everyone in their group. This win just puts them in the running. But that'll be all from me today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Congratulations to the Singularity guys. Commiserations to Wisla. It was a great game. They fought hard, but unfortunately couldn't quite make it work. I'll see you tomorrow for their next game.